Today's game day, it's Thursday.
I'm in Owen Sports Bar, Christine, so I have all the sports stuff.
Perfect. I'm rocking a Panthers jersey. Sarah is in her work gear. However, she's rocking a Panthers Santa, so you can't really ask for anything more.
Woo!
Let's just hope that Panthers Santa brings us a win tonight.
It will. And I am actually flying to St. Pete, Florida. My flight
is such a fun spot, though.
Hopefully, God, this flight really washes me out, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You have a very black background.
So dark. This is the Owen Sports Bar, you guys.
Isn't it welcoming? Without further ado, welcome to week whatever it is of It's Sportsis. All we know is it's going to be a good week because we have really cool things to talk to you guys about. Something that I asked Sarah last week. I was like, how does this happen? And she's like, you know what? I'm not going to tell you because this would be a really, really good episode of It's Sportsis. So here we are. My name is Christine. I am your average Joe Schmo when it comes to sports knowledge, and I'm here to ask all the questions that you guys have at home.
And I am Sarah, your self-proclaimed sports expert, and I am in our Owen Sports Dungeon today, hence my black background. I've got all the sports things in front of me, which will hopefully give me all the motivation to get through today's episode because it has been one heck of a morning, Christine. But I am here to answer all of Christine's questions and hopefully all of those questions that you have at home.
Mind you, so we are recording Thursday morning, which is the day that we actually go live because it's been a crazy work week for both of us. And we were going to record last night on Wednesday and we were like, okay, we just can't. Like there's too much going on. So we're going to wake up uber early. And of course, we're still running late. So here we are. But the big question is that we're talking about this week is how does everyone in the higher ups of football get paid?
Yeah, so it really kind of breaks down into, I mean, the answer is revenue, but where does this revenue come from, right? So there are, again, you know, I love to break things down into categories. We've got two categories here, Christine, and we've got national revenue from the NFL, and then we've got local revenue from the team itself.
All right, pause. Sorry. I just wanted to clarify. When I say the higher ups, I mean like the coaches and the owners and people that own the football teams and stuff like that, because I don't know if that was very clear at the very beginning, but yes. Okay. So it's broken down into two categories, national revenue from the NFL and local revenue from the team.
That's right. So the national revenue is established from the NFL, right? So the NFL has TV deals, merchandising, and licensing deals that bring in billions and billions of dollars that is split among all 32 NFL teams.
Okay, so that's how the NFL makes their money to almost give everybody their salaries.
Yeah, so the NFL, that's right. So the NFL is the national revenue, or that's what's creating the national revenue, correct? And I'm sure, yes, to your point, a part of that revenue is going to pay the actual NFL employees, right? But I, like, when I was looking into this, was shook at how much money these different, mainly the TV deals, right? So the TV deals, CBS, NBC, Fox, ESPN, all of those networks that you're watching the games on, right, are paying the NFL for the rights to be able to show the game.
So advertisements, you said?
No. Okay. So take advertisements completely out of it for a second.
Okay.
These networks are paying the NFL.
Like Fox,
NBC, CBS.
Oh,
They pay the NFL because they're like, we want to be able to show your games.
Okay, yeah, I had no idea that that's how it worked.
Yes, billions of dollars, and they sign like 10-year contracts, right?
And then obviously these networks make tons of money from that. They obviously have to get it back if they're willing to spend billions of dollars to have people to have, you know, them have the game on their network.
Yes. So I always am like, again, I'm such a rabbit hole like jumper. I can't help it, but I'm like, why would the networks do this? Right? Like, where are they going to make their money with all of this? Well, the answer is they're getting all of the money from the advertisements.
Oh, the network is.
The network is.
Oh, okay. So the network pays the NFL to have the games on their network, but they're reaping the benefits of all the advertisements and all the commercials that are being advertised on their channel during the football game, because we all know there's a jillion commercial breaks.
Yes, and they have been very creative on how they can add extra commercials into, like, they'll do a split screen now and have a State Farm commercial. So anyways, so why, right? So why are the TV networks paying the NFL for viewership, right? So they are paying the NFL for the games, and they're paying for the games because they want more people to watch the games and come to their network. And then why do they want more people? They want more people because the more people that they have, the more advertisements or the more advertisers want to advertise via commercials on that network. And the more viewers that they can prove to these advertisers that they have watching, the more money that the network makes.
Wow.
Isn't it crazy?
That honestly is crazy. I never thought that it worked like that at all. I mean, I didn't really know how it worked, obviously, which is why we're talking about it. But I had no idea that the networks were really involved that much.
I know. It's so insane. And that is like a huge part of that national revenue, right?
Okay, so NFL doesn't even make any money from advertisements. They make the money from the networks.
They make their money from the network.
Okay.
I'm sure there are NFL specific commercials that they're making their money on or whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, they make the majority of their money from the TV deals, which comes directly from those major networks to be able to show their games.
Okay, so that was national revenue from the NFL.
Yes, but it's also, okay, so there's the TV deals, but there's also merchandising and licensing, right? So merchandising is basically any and everything that the players are wearing, okay? So Nike is the biggest example because it's their uniforms. You will see the Nike check on every single NFL uniform, right?
Right.
Licensing, the NFL negotiates deals with third-party vendors
Okay.
to use the NFL logo and that team's logo.
Okay, so like examples.
Yeah, so an example is like Amazon. You go on Amazon and Amazon is a licensed NFL vendor. So you know that when you are ordering something off of Amazon, that you are getting legitimate NFL merchandise.
If you are buying it from a legitimate NFL store or whatever.
A licensed NFL vendor. That's correct.
That's crazy. I didn't know that either. I was like, I'm not going to pay 45 or God, jerseys are so much more expensive than that. Like $150 for a jersey on Amazon when it's probably fake.
Yeah. So you just have, I don't know what exactly you have to look for, but I know Amazon signed this like insane deal with the NFL to be able to sell their actual NFL branded merchandise on Amazon. Amazon gets a little hairy because there are so many different vendors that are things, but I'm wondering if there's like now somebody who goes in and like checks to make sure that it's legitimate before they like post that they have, you know, team merchandise and stuff.
Well, and then I'm guessing too, that since they have a licensing deal with Amazon, that they are making a profit on a percentage of the sales.
I don't think so.
Then how are they making their money?
They're making their money from the licensing deal. Amazon is paying the NFL for the rights to that NFL team's brand or the NFL brand, whatever.
Got it. So Amazon's almost buying the product. Are they buying the product from them? And since you know it's like legit stuff, like how are you guaranteed that it's legit if they're not actually getting it from
buying
the NFL?
The rights to be able to sell the brand? So Amazon, for example, is not like, they're a marketplace, right? So they're not calling the NFL and they're not saying, hey, I want, 1,000 jerseys. I'm going to sell them on Amazon. They are opening their gates and they are now allowed from the NFL to be able to have these NFL specific stores sell on their marketplace.
Got it. So we don't know where Amazon's actually getting the product from, but we just know it has to be NFL
branded. Yes, NFL branded, have that NFL tag. It's called a licensing deal. So anytime that you see like official NFL gear, it's because they have a licensing deal and you know that that is a legit jersey. You can obviously buy jerseys for like $5 from China, not officially NFL. You can always tell a difference. Whereas
huge quality difference.
Yeah, huge quality difference. Whereas those licensed, branded NFL jerseys are going to be sold through vendors that have negotiated the rights to be able to sell those jerseys.
There's so much that goes into it. Who would have thought all of this?
I know, it's so crazy. So recap, take all of those TV deals, all of those merchandising deals, all of those licensing deals, smush them together, divide it by the 32 teams. Each team gets a piece, 1/32 of the national revenue from the NFL on a yearly basis.
Got it. Okay. So what about the local revenue?
Local revenue is more of kind of that granular, like what you think each team is going to make money off of, right? So ticket sales, corporate sponsors. So like the NFL rolled out the ability for a company to be able to post their logo, the company's logo on the team's jersey. I don't know how long ago that rolled out, but that's local revenue. Corporate sponsors. So like the sole rights to the NFL stadium. The Panthers stadium is what?
What do you mean?
What is
The
the
Bank of
Panthers?
America Stadium.
Yes, the Panthers stadium is called.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
Stop, Sarah. What if I don't know the answer? I knew that one. Duh.
You knew that one.
So, okay. Question.
Yes.
So whenever you walk into Bank of America Stadium, you see Bud Light everywhere. So Bud Light is obviously sponsoring Bank of America Stadium. Sarah and I walked into the Panthers game last week or 2 weeks ago, and they were literally being like, "Get your free Bud Light here. Let's go. Free Bud Light here." And I was like, "Free Bud Light. This is the life."
It was quite the marketing ploy for sure.
But that's where the question arose, where I was like, Sarah, if they're giving away free Bud Light, how are they making their money? And how is Sarah was like, the owner is like, awesome. He's definitely has something to do with, giving away free beer. And I was like, well, how does he make his money?
Yeah. So the corporate sponsors, Bud Light, for example, they pay a lot of money to be in Bank of America Stadium, right? They're paying money to the team. They're not paying money to Bank of America, because Bank of America is paying money to the team to be able to slap their name on that stadium. Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
Okay. Bud Light is paying the team bukus of money to be able to be in that stadium and handing out free beer, because now you're talking about Bud Light, and all of our listeners are now going to be hearing about Bud Light, and now they're going to go and buy Bud Light or Bud Light seltzers, right? They're not paying Bank of America like what you said, because Bank of America does not own the stadium. They have the marketing rights to that stadium for a certain amount of time, but they're paying the Panthers for the rights to that stadium.
Okay, so they make no money on the Bud Light sponsorship.
Bank of America makes no money whatsoever. Them having their name on the stadium is literally just them getting their name out there.
Okay.
You saying that we're going to Bank of America Stadium is what they're paying for. They're paying for that marketing. But for example, I pulled up just like a quick number. MetLife, which is where the Giants and the Jets play, paid $19 million a year for the next 25 years to be able to have their name on that stadium.
Bank of America has to be making a profit by having their name on the stadium.
I mean, I'm sure, everybody that is going into Bank of America Stadium, maybe they'll use it's not direct. I don't think that they can correlate direct money to the stadium. but maybe everybody who's going into the stadium will be like, oh, I'm going to Bank of America Stadium. I'm not going to use Wells Fargo. I'll use Bank of America instead because I like going to Bank of America Stadium. Whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
For whatever reason, Bank of America wanted to spend crazy amounts of money to put their name on that stadium, and they're not making direct money from it at all.
Was it ever anything other than Bank of America Stadium? It's always been Bank of America, right?
Ericsson Stadium before.
Ericsson?
Ericsson. Yeah. ERRICSON, I think. Ericsson Stadium. I
Never
don't
even
know
heard of
what
Ericsson.
company that is, if it's even a bank, whatever. But it was called Ericsson Stadium before. So anyway, take the local revenue. The team gets 1/32 of that national revenue that we talked about earlier, and they get all of the local revenue, right? Some teams are going to make more local revenue than others. The Dallas Cowboys, for example, I feel like has been the richest franchise in NFL for like years and years and years and years because their ticket sales and their corporate sponsors and just the amount of fans that they have who are, buying Dallas Cowboys specific jerseys, whatever it is, these large name franchises like the Dallas Cowboys will make more money than the Carolina Panthers, who I looked up today, are the third poorest team in the NFL. Now, what I say, third poorest, don't feel bad. This is still millions of dollars that we are talking about, right? So they take this lump sum of money and now they make payments to their players. We talked about that with the salary cap. I have a what do you call that? Highlight on our Instagram. You can go and watch about the salary cap and what it is and how the players get paid. And then there is the coaches who get paid with that money. There is, maintenance of the stadium that goes into that, advertising, I'm sure, of
the workers. Did you say the workers?
Yes, all of the workers that are like cleaning at the stadium. And then whatever is left over after that, the owner makes.
Wow.
So these owners are making millions and millions of dollars each year.
But they've also paid millions and millions of dollars to own the team. But
I think Dave Tepper paid like $2.2 billion for the Panthers. Yeah.
Billion people.
Billion. And that's 1,000 millions.
Billion. That's wild. God.
$2 billion. $2 billion.
Ooh.
$2 billion. So it's insanity. Like
so much
how
money
much
inside the NFL.
Oh my gosh, is in the NFL period. And then whenever you look into these owners, I do think it's cool. And so I added a little note at the end here. A lot of these teams have had the exact same owners. At least the team has stayed in the family since the inception of the team. So I think the Bears, for example, whenever they started in the 1920s, this guy owned it. And now his 95-year-old daughter is the owner.
Aww.
I know. Don't you love stuff like that? It's
yes.
So you want them to make their money. You know how much work they put into it. The local revenue is completely driven. I mean, the owner is the one making those decisions on, what they're doing. They're the ones who are, giving the sign off at the very end, the final approval to say, yes, we want to do that. And so it's a full-time job. They definitely have a lot of work to do, but they're being very well compensated for it.
Yes, that is a dream job. I'll tell you what, if I had all the money in the world, Sarah, we would totally go in, own the Panthers. You would make all the decisions. I would be there for the ride and just be making all the money.
I talk about what I would do if I win the lottery like all the time. And it seriously gives me like butterflies
in my stomach and my vagina.
Stop, Cardi.
All right, you guys, that wraps up this week's episode of It's Sports Sis. We love you guys. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast so you can get notified every week whenever we go live. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Also, really big news coming y'all's way, so stay tuned.
Oh yeah, go Thurs.
Go Thurs.